Yo, 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 we starting. Let's see what we looking at here. All right.
The bridge is yours, Helldiver. Take us to the fight.
Damn, we're really pushing on these invasions.
Mission coordinates locked. Hellpods prime. Engaging orbital thrusters. Orbit synchronized.
Man, I'm probably gonna just start ranting on this stream about stuff that just doesn't make sense here. Like, Arrowhead's been real slow to fix a lot of stuff and straighten a lot of stuff out. And I don't mean to be rude about that, but like, there are a dozen such cases in this game where it's just like stuff just doesn't make sense. And we're getting answers, but they're just like poor ones. They're not they're not good answers. They're just kind of answers for the sake of answers. And it isn't making a lot of sense. Like for instance, some of these armor type, like second passives, and some of these armor sets having only one passive is kind of crazy. Like advanced filtration here, having only 80% resistance to gas and its effects is kind of crazy. Like, this should just be immune to effects and like at minimum 90% damage resistance. Like, this should basically be, hey, you take no damage from gas, like at all. Because the thing about this is that's literally just, I don't want to take damage from myself or my allies. Because enemies in the game are not using gas, at least not currently. There's no enemy gassing us in this game. So this is literally just, I would like to protect myself from friendly fire, which is just kind of goofy. Like, we shouldn't be building around not letting allies kill us. That just doesn't actively make a lot of sense. And like extra padding, like they could very easily just make this, you take significantly less impact damage, which is a very clearly different type of damage when you get slammed into walls and such after you survive an explosion. That just makes total sense. Like, simple things. Servo assisted, the limb health is just goofy. Like, I'm here for throwing range, but limb health makes no sense. This should realistically either be giving us like a third thing that is like increased mantle speed, or limb health just needs to go, and this needs to be throwing range and recoil reduction. Because throwing range and recoil reduction is actually like a really reasonable thing to expect from having robot-assisted arms and legs. Like, it makes complete sense, and it should just be like an all-around recoil reduction. Like, maybe not the further reduces recoil thing that, like, Fortified is doing here, which I also don't necessarily agree with that being on Fortified. That, like, that could come off and be somewhere else as well. Like, this should just be probably a little bit more armor and also explosive damage resistance here. Like, in the same way that extra padding is. Like, extra padding can do that, but then also reduce the impact damage because it's, like, padded. But this should be explosive resistance and also, like, higher armor type. And then, like, yes, baby, it's insane at that point. But the recoil reduction on top of being explosive damage resistant is kind of crazy. Like, they could put unflinching on here. They could make that unflinching. It's like you're resistant to explosive damage, and also you're reduced the likelihood that you flinch in general. That would make a ton of sense, but a lot of these armor passives are just kind of goofy. Like, Siege Ready makes a ton of sense. There's a very good reason a lot of people like Siege Ready, because it's actually a good combination that, like, synergizes with itself, allows you to, like, tailor a build together, use weapons that obviously need these two beneficial effects on them, and it kind of just puts them into a much more viable state. That's why it's so good. It's also always active, right? These always active buffs are instantly going to be better than these sometimes active buffs or these conditionally active buffs that armor's giving you. Like, if these armors are going to give you conditionally active buffs, then you realistically need something else to go with them. Like, in Flammable, the 75% resistance to fire, you still catch fire at the same speed. So, like, this is a sometimes active thing that is only protecting you while you're on fire. Like, or I guess taking fire damage, but if you're taking fire damage, you're on fire, because that's what this game just does. So, like, if this just basically made it where you stay on fire for significantly less time, where you don't have to do the dive roll thing when you catch fire, that would also be fantastic here. But, like, just 75% damage resistance to fire is, again, more of protect me from myself and my allies. Like, the only enemy type that has actually made this useful is the Incendiary Core, and they're not even in the game anymore. Like, they will be back, probably, very highly likely, with some hopefully adjustments to one, maybe two of the enemy types in there. But, like, this is not saving anybody from anything enemies are doing. This is just, oh, whoopsie, I dropped a fire impact a little too close and I set myself in fire. Or my ally keeps dropping napalm barrages on my head and I'd like to not die to anything other than the direct impact of it. In which case, this is also only a useful stat on medium and above. Like, Inflammable is useless on some of these light armor stats. Like, where is it? I think it's this bright red. Yeah, this. You're just taking so much damage on the Heat Seeker. This is actually a useless status effect on, like, stat here. I'm very cool with them breaking different armor effects down to armor weight class. Like, I don't see there being any merit to Scout being on a heavy arm, but I also don't see there being any merit to Inflammable on a light. Like, a damage resistance to an element thing on light armor is doing almost nothing for you unless it is this specific light armor where it's acclimated, where you're just getting a generic damage resist to basically every damage type that is non-ballistic kinetic. And a lot of people really like this armor set for that specific reason. But I see no one running this. Literally no one. Same thing with this one here, the advanced filtration. This is an elemental damage resist armor effect that is only to protect you from friendly damage on light armor. You're getting like 2 or 3 shot by every enemy in the game in light armor. This is doing nothing for you. Like, actually nothing. Engineering kit is actually fantastic. Like, engineering kit makes a ton of sense. I don't necessarily feel that this should also get the reduced recoil. I think there's something else that can be done here, but I'm not exactly certain what that is just off the jump. Maybe explosive resistance, like fortified, but maybe not to the same degree. Like maybe this is 30% instead of 50%, so that you're not necessarily getting the exact same thing. But that's also not super like engineer sensible. The holding capacity for grenades, though, if that's what these sorts of kits are going to be about, is actually rock solid. Like, they could even do like one of the damage resistance types and throw that in. But yeah, some of these armor sets and combinations that they've got in the game make no sense at all. Democracy Protects being exclusively on mediums makes perfect sense. Like, I'm not even here to debate that. That's absolutely sensible. But like this, I don't care what anybody says, this is dog crap. Like, electrical conduit is only useful against very few squids, and this really needs a secondary effect. Like, this really needs a secondary effect. If the secondary effect was something like you stun all enemies in a 5-meter radius when you get meleeed once every 60 seconds, like, that's actually a super cool thing that you're like, oh, my armor effect's active, let me go ahead and do something about that. Again, that's a conditional armor effect, so it's not always permanent uptime, but it's a powerful conditional armor effect that lets you kind of build and play around that. Like, and on a medium armor or a light armor, getting tagged and then stunning everything in an area around you so that you can respond efficiently is really good. Like, really good. But I don't see any cool armor effects like that. They like, the coolest new armor effect they've given us is probably like either Righteous or Gunslinger. Cause I'm sorry, Integrated Explosives, not Righteous. Because Integrative Explosives is really cool as a playstyle of, I don't care, I'm going to die at some point inevitably. Let me also make that worth something. And then Frontier Marshal being like, if you really want to focus on secondary weapons, there's some cool stuff that you can do here. But I also just, there's not enough secondary weapons that are super worth running this. Yeah, it's another kind of gimmicky thing. Like, I think that they keep trying to put gimmicky stuff on these armor sets that seem cool, like the fire resistance one, because we were all like, hey, where's a fire resistance armor? That'd be super cool. Then I can live out my flamethrower fantasy. And then all they gave us was fire resistance on these. Like, these things need something. But exploding on death is super cool. I think if they also gave you like engineering kit with this, where you get 2 additional grenades here, that would be super dope. That'd just be super cool. And it would be on theme as hell. Because yes, of course you're carrying more explosives, you're literally an explosive. Unflinching is bad. This just needs literally anything else with it. Like literally anything else. Or this needs to be like actually insane levels of flinch resistance. Like insane levels of flinch resistance where it's like, no, I'm locked in. You can hit me with whatever you want as long as you're not ragdolling me. I'm gonna keep blasting you in the mouth. Extra padding, I've kind of been through that. Like, this needs to just provide impact resistance. Like, that'd be very cool. If they want to, like, make unflinching a high mobility thing, where it's like, oh yeah, you barely flinch, and if you get ragdolled, you get up super fast, if that's something that you want to do, that would be very cool. Scout's really good. I don't know that Scout should really be on medium armor. I guess that's kind of okay. I just don't know that it needs to be on medium armor here. It's not the most sensible thing to me. There's just a lot of stuff like that in this game, where because of these double effect things, like, you're getting some incredible power out of the double effect ones, and it's kind of just pushing these single effect ones to the dirt. And it's no wonder every time a pole comes out and it's covering these, that's what's happening. Like, if we're gonna do damage resistances too, like, engineering kit as an alternative could also be like just really good at dealing with like acclimated, like almost like this 50% resistance here to fire, gas, acid, electrical damage. Like, if you put that on engineering kit and they get an additional throwable capacity, that's pretty good. Like, that's rock solid right there. And it makes sense. Like, engineers, or at least combat engineers, are generally very good at handling any sort of battlefield. Like, they go into a combat zone ready to deal with basically anything. They're combat engineers. It's what they do. You can ask anybody who's ever been in the military and was part of a sapper corps. Like, their number one thing is, let's be prepared. Like, you never know what you're going to deal with, so let's be prepared. And acclimated could probably get like some mobility buff here, just to clean it back up, and make it to where it's like, okay, you're also resistant to different weather effects, like the hazardous weather effects. So your blizzards, your sandstorms, your acid rain, and everything like that. Like, you don't get the slowing effects from those. I mean, not for vision, obviously, because that's like helmet related stuff that hopefully eventually they do something with, but they could easily do that too. Yeah, that's my quick rant before I start playing the rest of this game, since, you know, I'm gonna start getting stuff like that out a bit more often and making videos on it. Was there any I didn't really hit here? Yeah. This one is the most disappointing to me, because 50% limb health is, like, it's misleading as hell, because it doesn't actually give you health. It gives your limbs health, like, but you still die just as fast. So it's like, oh yeah, my arms never break, which I guess is kind of good, but there's so many other things I'd rather have. Anyway, yeah, let's just keep doing what we're doing here. Maybe we do that. Maybe I like that. Get dripped out before we drop in, you know? These are another thing that ought to just get some huge love. Like, there's no reason that this doesn't have a demolition force of 40 or more. I know that might be over the head of anybody who might catch this video, but demolition force is a very, very important stat that is not given to you at all in any way. Let me just give that a shot. I just want to see how that feels, you know? Loving this this hover pack though. It's rock solid. Does a lot of work. I think I'll just drop with this just because.
Launch initiated.
Man, what a rant to go off on for nearly no reason. Alright, let's see.
All the galaxy looks to you for salvation.
Extract is
Let nothing
shockingly
stand
clear.
in the way of
Deploying SOS beacon.
Deploying support weapon. Deploying equipment package.
Alright, let's see.
Dropping a pin.
I don't need samples anymore. I've got everything unlocked at this point, but I might as well pick them up just in case one of these guys is low and just needs them. Just wouldn't be the worst thing in the world. Oh, here's another thing I would just because. Drop a resupply down on the point.
Deploying equipment package.
Damn, pretty good movement. Not going very good for me.
Allied destroyer joining squadron. Deploying Helldivers to combat zone.
Activating jump pack.
Allied destroyer joining squadron. Deploying Helldiver to combat zone. Outpost destroyed.
Rare sample acquired. Freedom never sleeps.
Requesting sentry. Calling down fortifications.
Allied destroyer joining squadron. Deploying
I'm
Helldiver.
I'm also kind of here for this little like
Rare
grenadier
sample acquired.
stratagem here. It is also kind of pushing me to further and further believe that that 5th stratagem slot should be something we can pay for.
Northeast.
It would be very cool.
Marking map. North. Far. To the sky.
Found something.
Oh. Okay. And that was a little hard to operate at that angle.
Tactical asset nearby.
Requesting air support.
Requesting air support.
Getting a tiny bit
Found
over here.
something.
There's a stim pack over here. Nope. Oof.
Tactical asset near your location.
Calling in reinforcements. Calling down fortifications. Package acquired. Dropping package. Package acquired.
Activating jump pack. Engaging terminal.
Dropping package. Package acquired. Reinforcing.
Somebody might notice that the sounds going off there are a bit louder and a bit different.
Package acquired.
Arrowhead is
I got the
like
terminal.
super cool about modding the game, as long as it is not something that affects other players or deals directly with like sensitive game files, anything that's like leaks or stratagems that are buried in the files, because that like obviously affects game stability. If things are not meant to be active, they can cause some serious issues with everything else in the game's operation. But as long as we're not doing that, we're pretty much given the okay at this point by the studio to mod the game.
Calling in reinforcements.
You know, obviously tasteful things.
You will
Oh,
never
my.
destroy our way of life.
Package acquired. Dropping package.
Calling in reinforcements.
acquired.
Oh man.
Sending an eagle.
Woo!
Activating jump pack. Reloading. Squid outpost. Requesting sentry. To the sky. That's called democracy.
Outpost destroyed.
Oh wow. Okay.
Reinforcing.
Well, I did try to stem there 2 times, and getting staggered out of stemming is still happening, and it's a bit rough.
Reinforcements on the way.
It's a pretty bad feel.
Point me to the enemy.
Oh man, how far away from my crap am I?
Dropping
Pretty
a
good,
pin.
pretty good
Southeast,
solid
300
distance away
meters.
from my crap, so
Calling down
I'm
a
gonna call in
support
some new
weapon.
ones.
Requesting tac
Pretty much
pack.
the way it works.
Found
It's
something.
on me though. I played that way too low health for way too long a time. And honestly, I probably could have gotten away with meleeing those enemies, running peak physique and all. Would have absolutely screwed them up. But it is what it is. Hindsight's 20/20 for sure.
Tagging map. Southeast. 100 meters.
Sub-objective near your location.
Found something.
Activating jump pack.
To the sky. Requesting sentry.
Oh, wow. Oh, what the heck?
New mag.
Okay.
Calling down a support weapon. To the sky.
Objective completed.
Oh, my bad. Oh, my bad.
Follow me.
Found
I'm
something.
sorry. Calling in reinforcements. Support weapon. Yeah. I'm sorry. Requesting fortifications! New mag! Oh, burrito! Throwing grenade!
Outpost clear.
Sending in an eagle! Four super Earths!
Got a sample. To the sky.
There it is.
Package acquired!
All right.
Dropping a pin. Northeast. 100
I
meters.
guess I'll just go straight to the point here. There's no reason not to, other than like it's gonna boost enemy spawn count, but we're here to fight anyway, so we might as well have some enemies to fight. Yeah, that really helped. This hover pack is just absolutely excellent in the city style maps. It just really gives you so much advantage when it's all set up like that, because you can just kind of cross massive spaces that you otherwise would not be able to.
Dropping package. Package acquired. Activating jump pack.
Illuminate. South.
Everything looks pretty clear too.
Requesting air support. Dropping package. Requesting sentry. Package acquired.
North. Close. Requesting air support. Requesting air support.
Main objective near your position.
I'm sorry.
Dropping package. Engaging
Sending in an
terminal.
eagle.
Rare sample acquired. Got a sample.
Squids.
Calling down
Calling
fortifications.
down a sentry.
Requesting orbital strike.
Allied destroyer leaving squadron.
Oh man.
Reinforcing. Get some. Get some.
Requesting advanced weaponry.
I got the terminal.
Well, that worked out nicely too.
Illuminate south. Cancel that. Have a taste of democracy!
You've done your duty. You may extract with honor.
Yeah, see, this thing's pretty great. Like, and it's bullet resistant too. You can shoot it. Oh,
Allied destroyer joining squadron. Deploying Helldiver.
okay. I guess it's a light armor resistant. I guess it's AP3.
Requesting air support!
I thought it was hopefully vehicle grade.
Requesting advanced weaponry.
Let's all complain until that gets adjusted, because that should be
Pin,
vehicle grade
southwest,
right there.
200 meters.
There is not a really good reason why that armor should not be vehicle levels of resilience.
Activating jump pack. Calling in orbital strike.
Yep. Just gonna reload. Probably gonna call in a resupply up there too. This seems like a good goal.
Sending down equipment
I'm running a
package.
bit low on all of my different ammo bags. I hear a
You will never destroy our
yeah,
way
there
of
it
life.
is.
Illuminate southwest.
Calling in reinforcements.
Requesting sentry.
Heavy. Northwest. 100.
Woo! We just gonna dodge out of there.
Requesting sentry.
Freedom forever!
Alright, it is for sure time for me to locate that resupply I called in.
Calling in
There it is. Here's the other
reinforcements.
one. I think the other guy probably got the rest of it there. Woo!
Injury? What injury?
Requesting fortification.
Quit! Fire in the hole!
Requesting air support.
Requesting orbital strike. Calling down a sentry!
Sending down sentry.
Requesting air support.
Oh man! Kind of got my shit rocked there for a hot minute. Glad I had this other guy here. That was getting pretty ugly. Pretty out of position there, like kind of a lot.
Tagging map. East. 300
It's
meters.
probably clear. Whole team was there like not that long ago. Should be able to hop to this other hilltop here with like no issue at all. Just down that real quick to help a friend.
How'd you like the taste of freedom?
Oh, I hope that wasn't my fault.
Reinforcing.
Get some! Get some!
Requesting air support.
You may proceed to extraction when ready.
Orbital inbound.
Calling in reinforcements!
Why you get set off? That's gonna work.
Calling down
Tagging location.
fortifications.
Northeast, never mind. New mag! Liberty, save me! Requesting sentry!
Well, that's a
Deploying
scene.
sentry.
Calling in orbital strike.
Calling down a sentry.
Tagging location. Northeast.
Thank you.
Activating jump pack.
Get to play sniper Overwatch on a perch here. This is actually pretty dope. That's pretty cool. His body for Super Earth, man. Oh man, that dude just called in the
Proceed to
resupply.
extraction when ready.
No care for everybody over here at all. Big love on that one.
Calling down a support weapon.
How'd you like the taste of freedom?
Calling in extraction.
Extraction shuttle inbound.
Heavy. Northwest. 50 meters. Requesting fortifications.
To the sky.
ETA T-minus 2 minutes and 30 seconds.
Requesting fortifications. New mag.
ETA T-minus 2 minutes.
Calling down a sentry. Requesting sentry. Request.
Firing gap. ETA T-minus 1 minute 30 seconds.
too.
58
Like,
minutes, 1 minute.
I stand this plan. Because if nothing else, it lets us see. And that's just huge. Especially when you're like
Southwest. Heavy.
able to see shit like that happen. Woo!
Calling in reinforcements.
ETA T-minus 30 seconds.
Southwest. 50 meters.
ETA T-minus 20 seconds.
Reloading.
ETA T-minus 10 seconds.
Oh man.
Pack inbound.
Pelican 1 arriving at coordinates. This is Pelican 1 preparing for touchdown.
Activating jump pack.
Man, I love the Wasp launcher as a concept. I just think that the execution of making it like a reload backpack is not the way. I think that weapon is not nearly strong enough to require that backpack. I think if they take that backpack off and either give it like just ammo in the back or make it more like a expendable anti-tank or a commando, I think that weapon actually steps into a realm of its own. Like even with just a tiny damage buff, because basically all it is it's somewhere in between autocannon and grenade launcher in terms of like damage effectiveness, except the goal is like it targets for you, which Arrowhead seems to put like a crap ton of power budget into auto target weapons, I guess is the way to put it. Their power button or power budget for weapons that automatically target enemies is just incredibly higher than it likely ought to be. Because if like all of the world wants, they do a crossover with Titanfall, and get a hold of Respawn Studios, and they're like, hey man, we wanna throw some Titanfall-esque stuff in here. Can we borrow the smart pistol? Then that smart pistol drops, and the fact that it auto targets means it does like just for a reference. Like I'll walk over and I'll look at the Peacemaker real quick, and we'll show you how much damage the Peacemaker does, because it's very okay. 75 damage a bullet. It'll probably honestly be like Redeemer levels of damage per bullet. And on a smart pistol weapon, like even though it's probably going to just auto lock headshots, 60 damage is not enough to actually kill anything per bullet on headshots. So like it'll be really cool for a second, and then you'll have to fucking reload it like 80 plus times. And I don't think anybody wants to reload a weapon 80 times in a match that is not killing anything per reload, realistically.
We near operational.
Coordinates locked. Hellpods prime. Engaging orbital thrusters. Orbit synchronized.
Oh man, this bro is level 25. Man unlocked super Helldive and was like, yeah, let's do that. Let's just do that forever. Not the craziest call in the world for sure, but kind of interesting for sure. Man, I'm loving this hover pack. It's just so much fun. It's so much fun. I'm feeling there's room to play Quasar Cannon with this. I'm feeling there's room to play Grenade Launcher with this, but I just can't seem to let go of what I'm doing here. with machine guns. I do think the stalwart is the better option, though. Just kind of am feeling that a lot. I don't ever know what to let my other stratagem be. I've done like orbital gas strikes. I've done like gas mines as like gas options. Having a turret into illuminate is just a huge deal. Pretty much always. I don't know. They gave this another usage, but it's not enough. It needs like 10 to be viable. I don't know. Maybe we just stick to orbital gas. I mean, it's so versatile. Just so friggin' versatile. I like the concept of throwing knife. I just didn't get a whole lot of use out of it, so let's pull it away. Try something different, you know? Maybe we just use frags. Like, having a ton of grenades is pretty cool. Because it does give you several more than others. You know? Gas is rock solid as always. Incendiary impact is pretty good. Maybe we just do that. That sounds pretty good. Let's just do that.
Launch initiated.
Oh, that's kind of neat. The bottom right corner HUD is pulling up on my PC because it's reflecting light. That's pretty funny.
Defend democracy at any cost.
Freedom requires firepower.
Torch just such an excellent weapon. People kind of crap on the stalwart. That extra 10 damage that they gave it really doesn't do much though. It really just wasn't necessary for any actual reason.
Tagging map.
Just kind of
Northwest.
exists.
200 meters. Deploying SOS beacon.
Can I hit any of them from here? No, I just do not have the angle for it. Oh my god! Laser dog wanted me dead, brother.
Squid outpost spotted. Calling.
I don't know that that's gonna make it.
Gas strike incoming.
It does not. That is unfortunate.
To the sky. Reloading.
Oh, let me know. There we go. Oh, really?
Outpost destroyed.
That'll do it.
Activating jump pack.
Allied destroyer joining squadron, deploying Helldiver to combat zone.
For prosperity.
Allied
Yeah, there we go. Okay. That got hairy for our friend there for a second, you know? I was worried I was going to end up losing his life there.
Throwing supply beacon.
Neat.
Found something.
Probably didn't need that, but hey, whatever. Jellycopter. I'm digging that name. I think that's pretty hot.
Calling down fortification.
Care what anybody says, I'm taking 2.
Say hello to democracy!
Squid outpost!
I think that was me. It could have not been. Oh, brother. Oh, well, that is also a way to deal with a cognitive disruptor. For sure. So I aim for legs on these enemies, and like I feel like people are gonna ask me why I do that. It's because their legs have consistently the lowest health of all of the parts of their bodies, and if you blow their legs off, they do just die. Like then it's period. Like there's not. They are not in fact coming back from that if that happens to them. So it's just kind of good practice to just blow their freaking legs off. Be just enough.
Outpost destroyed.
Hey, brother. You want to fight? We can fight. That's fine. You're a dick with that. Oh, dear God.
Reinforcing!
Trouble.
Calling in reinforcements!
Trouble. Do that real quick. Shit. We jump. This maneuver right here, where I toss that to the ground. Then I throw that, and dodge drive. And that'll solve like 90% of my issues back there. Just, you know, put a couple rounds of Eruptor in there for me. What is your deal, brother?
Tactical asset near
I'm shifty. I'm dodgy. I got jiggle tech, brother. Do you have jiggle tech? It doesn't look like it. Died. Holy crap! Uh-oh. Boys, I'm in trouble. Boys, I'm in trouble. I got a jetpack out of here. Holy crap.
Requesting sentry.
Praying to God that comes in where I need it to. Woo! Oh! Oh, they fucking me up, kid. Holy crap. I need to get to these stems. I just need to get to these stems real quick. Oh!
Requesting orbital strike.
Oh, that was a mistake.
Reloading.
Wow. Oh, man. Am I screwed? Did I fuck up? I did, in fact, the fuck up. go that way. Yeah, maybe I pull this off.
Tactical asset near your location.
Woo!
Activating jump pack. Calling down a sentry.
Calling in reinforcements.
Oh, hell no, Chief. Yeah, get him, turret. Show him who's boss. Oh, thank God. Alright, I just need to set a wall of flames down for myself. Drop one of these here.
Strike.
Toast this guy a little bit. You know, get a nice pre-cooked.
Canisters empty.
That's gonna be a nice kill count racking up there. I don't think I
Reloading.
need to call in my grenade barricade. I think I can kind of run back at him at this point.
Found something.
Okay.
Heavy. South. 50 meters.
Dropping a pin. East. 100 meters. Heavy. East. 50 meters.
Oh shit. Now I can't summon shields back up, so my team gets to just wreck his socks right there. Oakley dokley. That was certainly gameplay of a quality. I'm not gonna speak to the exact level of quality, but it happened. It for sure did.
Engaging terminal.
Oop. I don't know why I did that. It was clearly a mistake. Big whiff. Alright, we'll fire that. Oh, and I can whiff, actually. Completely miss doing nothing to anyone. Okay, wait, what? How am I whiffing this? What am I missing?
I got the terminal.
Democracy delivered.
So I have it.
Tagging map. Southeast. 50 meters.
Gotta let the boys know.
Requesting sentry.
Deploying sentry.
These guys are insane.
No dagger left. Engaging terminal.
Elbow arm.
Objective completed.
One of these guys brought the additional respawns booster. That's kind of funny. That's a little bit haha.
Dropping a pin. East, 200 meters. New mag. For Super Earth!
Shit. Nope. What the fuck? Okay.
Canister's empty. Canister's empty. Calling in reinforcements.
Got him, coach. Let me not get caught in Psycho Pants
Calling
McGee's
down supply.
line of fire here.
Heavy, southeast, 50 meters. Calling in reinforcements. New mag. Supplies. How'd you like the taste of freedom? Out of ammo.
Shit.
Sweet liberty, the blood. Reinforcing. Requesting fortifications. Calling down a sentry. Fire in the hole. Get some! Get some!
You guys have the teamwork capability of a broken. Okay, that should be doing damage. Why is it not? There.
Not today! Heavy, southeast, 50 meters. How about a nice cup of liberty? You will never destroy our way of life.
This is certainly going in a way that I would classify as deliberate.
strike.
Gas strike incoming.
That bro is ridiculous. He literally took every single fucking resupply except for the one that I made him grab. Like, who does that?
Democracy delivered. Objective near your position.
Man, they don't call it democracy's buzzsaw for nothing.
That's called democracy! Only
Calling down fortifications.
Oh!
squids! Tagging map, south, 200 meters. Calling down fortifications. Calling down a sentry. How about a nice cup of liver tea? Prosperity.
Freedom marches onward. Thanks to you. You may proceed to extraction.
Oof.
Illuminati south.
You guys are insane.
Dropping a pin.
Extraction is
50
available.
meters.
Smells kind of hard.
Engaging terminal. I got the terminal.
He deserved it.
Package acquired.
Requesting sentry.
Package acquired. Dropping package.
That was C-RAM energy. That Gatling turret picked up a guy that was way above him in altitude and just went full ham.
200 meters.
Extraction is available.
Yeah, I mean, sure, extraction's available. But
Dropping package. Package acquired.
you know, why do that?
Package acquired. Package acquired. Dropping package.
Really?
Outpost clear.
There we go.
Dropping package. Found something.
Have a taste of democracy.
Tagging location.
Found something.
No, I know for a fact I saw one of the yellow blinking beams over here.
Tagging map. South. 300 meters.
Which means either super credits, medals, samples I don't need. Is that it over there? No, I could swear. No, there's well, there's a lot of chance I'm crazy, but like, there's no way, right? Like I saw it. Oh, there it is. I went past it. Good job, man.
Requesting orbital strike.
Oh, shit.
Found something. To the sky. Got a sample.
Mission at 10 minutes remaining.
Calling in extraction.
Extraction shuttle
These guys are
inbound.
crazy too. I'm actually kind of glad to be done with this. I want to see if any of them leave because a couple of these guys are absolute mad lads. Let's be honest. This is a better weapon if the enemy's coming
Activating
like
jump
crazy.
pack.
Just hits harder.
Calling down a support weapon.
ETA T-minus 1 minute 30 seconds.
Engines. Requesting sentry.
ETA T-minus 1 minute.
Yeah, I really like this new battlement.
Requesting fortifications.
ETA T-minus 30 seconds.
New mag.
ETA T-minus 20 seconds. ETA T-minus 10 seconds.
Let's play.
Pelican 1 approaching pickup.
1, 2, 3. I win. 1, 2.
Countdown initiated. Stand by for takeoff. Reinforcement extraction complete. Pelican 1 beginning ascent.
There's no way they're all low level. That'd be hilarious if they're all like under 50. That'd actually be super funny if they're all under 50. I think that's a visual. That explains so much. Oh my god. These guys are funny. These guys are funny. Alright. I'm going to complete this operation, and then I'm going to go to tier maker. And I'm going to throw a tier list together too. Because a lot of stuff has changed in like several months. There's just some stratagem variation that I feel like a lot of people kind of sleep on. And I think it's people at that level. Everybody under level 75 doesn't know. And it doesn't surprise me that people under 75 don't know. But it's definitely a thing. Dang. Was not expecting to get a ton of kills like that.
Liberty is victorious
Did
once
not
more.
expect that at all. There is a build into Illuminate that gets absolutely like ridiculous numbers of kills.
Coordinates locked.
I
Hellpods prime.
can run that.
Allied just engaging.
Oh, man, they all even-
thrusters.
I did say it though. I did say it'd be kind of okay if they all just
Orbit
kind of dipped out.
synchronized.
And drop over here. Nah, we'll drop over here.
Allied destroyer has left squadron.
Well, that's fine. That's fine if it's just me. It's not a big deal. Yeah, I'm gonna show that build off because that build is sickeningly crazy. Let me swap up a little bit so y'all can see how goofy that build is real quick. So same armor. We're still running peak physique, and the reason we're running peak physique is because our primary is actually the machine gun. The MG43 to be specific, because every single bullet from it does exactly enough damage to kill legs, which I guess technically Stalwart does now too, now that it does 80 damage. That's kind of a really big breakpoint. But voteless legs are 80 health, and at medium pin you're doing 100% damage. With the Stalwart you still have to probably hit him twice, I'd imagine. I'll have to do some testing on that because I wasn't paying attention, but it didn't seem like that's what it was doing. But with the MG43 it does 90 damage per shot, and because it's medium pin, it's doing that like full damage. There is no reduction or anything like that going on with the light armor enemies that are voteless, because I do believe voteless are light armor, at least at their level. This guy came to party, bringing the double orbitals and defensive stuff. I think he's a little confused,
Launch
but
initiated.
he's got the spirit. But anyway, so your MG43 just does work on every single enemy in this faction. And on these missions that let you just run around the cities, there's so much ammo everywhere that you don't even need things like siege ready or what do you call it? Siege ready or supply pack,
And shoot you for.
because you just have so much free ammo at all
Die for
times.
democracy.
Deploying SOS beacon. Marking look to cancel that. High value item. Southwest.
Yeah, see, this thing fucking hates overseers and just devastates the lesser enemies. So all you gotta do is get your MG43 to clear, like, shields and things of that nature.
Requesting fortification. Prosperity! Calling down a sentry! Requesting sentry! Say hello to democracy!
Oh, I whiffed that. Okay.
Calling down
Sending down equipment package.
How'd you like the taste of freedom?
Yeah, like, maybe at one point that looked like it was going a little bit south, but in reality that was not actually much of a problem. Did bro take him some? Yeah, he did. So I'm just gonna clean up, finish the reload, grab the rest of the supply before the reload's done because I'm stupid or something.
Get some! Get
And then he
some!
does. Oh, and all of his voteless friends just appear out of the blue. But that's okay because I have gas grenades.
How'd you... Ah!
Whoa, brother! Oh, he got a mortar? Oh, I had no idea that was coming. Brother, you're gonna want to reinforce me because your mortar killed me. It's kind of insane.
Quest approved. Deploying reinforcements.
Wow. Wow, dude, come on now.
Reporting to the front.
Requesting sentry.
At least get the backpack up and running first.
Calling down fortifications.
Go. Use that frag to actually propel myself forward a little bit. Because I'm goofy crazy like that. This needs to get roughed out. Let the gun dog do the work, you know?
Calling down a
Allied
sentry.
destroyer joining squadron. Deploying Helldiver.
Requesting sentry. Mag's empty.
Attack inbound. Calling down a support weapon.
Get some. Get some.
Requesting air support.
Yeah, that actually goes like
Outpost spotted.
pretty
Requesting
well
orbital.
for me, all things considered. And part of the reason this build actually does so well is because everything you're doing is killing everything. Like,
Tagging map.
you just always are putting bullets down range,
Allied
be it
destroyer
your
joining
machine
squadron.
gun,
Deploying Helldiver.
your gun dog that's over your back, your two turrets, which I keep double using back to back, but that's also because I'm being like severely overwhelmed, which is non-standard. Yeah, die guy.
Attack
Um,
inbound.
And so like
Orbital inbound.
it's just constant hails of bullets against enemies that do not do well against medium pen level bullets. And pretty much every single bullet you're firing is medium pen out of this build. So you're kind of just a freaking wall of lead. Oh my god.
Allied destroyer has left the squadron.
Gross skis. Yeah, not gonna lie. I don't
Wait
like
outpost
the
spotted.
bullets go at all.
Outpost cleared.
Oh, what? There we go. And so the reason that you're bringing a crossbow here is because crossbow is just an answer to the floor overseers at all times. They do not have anything that lets them deal with that. And you're just gonna two-shot them. Because they have a blade of armor, which normally puts you at a disadvantage. But because of the type of enemy that they are,
Calling
the blade
in
of armor
reinforcements. I'm sorry.
like does not protect from the explosion which passes through it. So you can actually just kind of
Dropping a pin.
crap all
Southwest.
over dudes.
100 meters.
Objective complete.
See what I mean? Like, I had a little bit of assistance from the world there.
You will never destroy our way of life.
Also, really like aiming at the legs on overseers. This whole faction is just shooting in the leg, and not enough people realize that.
Destroyed.
Reloading.
Because every single enemy's like leg joints are their weakest part, and they're super easy to focus.
Allied destroyer joining squadron. Deploying Helldiver to combat zone.
And I don't even have to fight them right now. let the dog do the work, right?
Tagging map, northwest, 200 meters.
Affirmative.
Say hello to democracy!
It's kind of a shame, but hey, whatever. Like, it's not the biggest deal in the world. It'll be just fine regardless.
Blood light for Super Earth!
All there.
Squids!
That hard at least.
Found something! For prosperity!
Reinforcing. I'm sorry.
There we go.
Rare sample acquired.
Got me a Jeep, which
Requesting air
is
support.
good. Get back to the team pretty quick, pretty easily here.
Throwing grenade. Found something. My life for Super Earth. Throwing grenade.
Oh. I wasn't sure if Bro was gonna pull that off. Get my reload in real quick.
Calling down a sentry!
Yeah, it's gonna absolutely like
Requesting sentry!
confuse the shit out of people when they see exactly how many kills this build gets. Because I'm just running around letting kills happen.
Say hello to democracy!
Found something.
Calling down a two!
So what I need to do is I need to run here for a second. Let my turret do a ton of the work. Draw the aggro for this guy. So I'm gonna be able to just hit the dirt, drop his legs, and then move on to the next target. And it's just too easy. And see, look, my turret's still alive. I put up 33 kills just now. This build just farms. Just farms enemies. Doesn't care anything about Illuminates. It just farms Illuminates. Like, and the crazy thing is, this build is actually not that bad into things like bots
300 meters.
and bugs. Like, it's not the best into the bug faction, like for sure. But into bots, it actually puts in quite a bit of work, because having medium pin on everything that you do, turns out bots don't like respond well. They're just getting shredded.
Hello to democracy! Rare sample acquired.
See this friggin' gun dog is just still popping off. He's just like, oh yeah, we need to pad your stats, right? And I'm just like, yeah, let's do that. Let's pad stats. I see a super sample rock off in the distance. So the other thing is, like, I can actually reasonably, I can kill that harvester from here, like, very reasonably. I'd love to get a little bit closer, just because.
Requesting
Deploying sentry.
Tagging location. North.
Calling down objective equipment. I got the terminal.
Found something!
Package acquired. Dropping package.
Requesting orbital!
Engaging terminal.
Calling down a sentry!
Have a taste of democracy. Canister's empty.
Dusty. 100 meters.
Tagging map.
Okay.
Southwest.
Dope.
Far.
Objective
Like-
located. Northeast.
I guarantee I already have 400 kills. So like, anybody who wants to get kill farms done, you want to look like the biggest badass. This is just doing it. And it's so insane. I guarantee I already have at least 400
Tagging map.
kills.
Southwest. Far.
Like, and we're at 23 minutes. Like, I'll let the rest of the team do some work right now. Because I feel like,
Objective near
if I keep
position.
doing what I'm doing,
Tagging
they're
location.
just gonna stand there
Northwest.
and be continuously useless.
Package acquired. Dropping package.
Didn't even need to. God, it freaking Gundog is insane
Objective
into this
critical
faction.
stratagem available.
Calling in a hell bomb.
Bonk.
Orbital inbound!
Max empty.
He's gonna close in. And Gundog's just gonna kill him. And that's it. And that's just pretty much all
Calling
that's gonna
down a
happen.
sentry. Engaging terminal.
Package acquired.
Hell bomb armed. Clear the area.
Dropping package.
You will never destroy our way of life. Requesting sentry.
Thank you.
Requesting sentry.
Dropping package.
Whee! Just the long slide here.
Throwing supply beacon.
I'll just be dunking my head into the dirt right now. It's pretty crazy. Dude, already dead. And then I know there's a ton of enemies coming, so I'm just gonna put out 2 gas grenades and just start pumping crossbow shots in.
Max empty.
Just gotta dodge the melee boys.
Liberty dispensed.
Now I gotta give Mortar Bro a bit of credit here. That mortar did some work just now. Like, and probably cemented all of those. Mortar also does like absolutely asinine levels of work into this faction. hear the orbital. Oh, it's a walking barrage. Yeah, a lot of people are big fans of orbital walking barrage. I just I don't see it. I don't see it. I see it on maybe 2 missions where it's actually like
Mission at 20 minutes remaining.
something I'd consider quite good. Most of the time, it just kind of underperforms, and I think a lot of that has to do with the proximity of each like follow-up explosion to the prior one. Thanks, brother. What a guy. He knows I'm a lard ass in heavy armor, and so he's just dimming me because infinite stamina.
Tagging map, southwest, 200 meters.
Oh, but I'm gonna get tagged. All good.
Request approved. Reinforcements on the way.
Yeah,
Democracy has landed.
oh no.
Orbital inbound.
Have a taste of democracy. Mag's empty. Calling down a sentry.
Calling down a sentry.
That's called democracy.
Sentry.
Bro's got the moves like Jagger. He just won't get hit. That was a crazy death, though. Was not ready to die there.
Requesting
Tagging map,
orbital.
southwest.
But I
200 meters.
suppose that's standard when one perishes. No one's really ready for it. What the fuck? And here's the thing. I have not had to once recall in my stuff at this point, right? Like, that's a very important thing to note.
Calling down fortification.
Got a sample.
Requesting air support.
Sample collected.
Requesting orbital.
Prosperity. Quit.
Keep gunning them down. Number go up.
Requesting air support.
Requesting sentry.
Oh. What? That's fine.
Calling in
My Gatling's
reinforcements.
about to just pop off too.
Request approved. Reinforcements have been launched.
Ready to liberate.
I was not ready to die there either. It's just kind of wild. Keeps putting me down.
Sentry. Calling down.
Sending down sentry.
Alright, so they're gonna activate the terminal real quick. I'm gonna start moving the citizen. Ready.
Thank you.
Look at it. It's just the kill count. It's just skyrocketing. I'm gonna have like 600-700 kills by the end of it. I guarantee. Just take every fight. Okay. We doing the thing? We doing the thing, team? Boys? Boy yo yo yo?
Engaging terminal.
Alright. Alright. Oh my god. Bro's hurting. Bro's brain seizing. And see, I'm about to have my friggin' machine gun sentry back already. The call down speed buff. Big friggin' stonks, man. He's just going to town over there.
Calling down fortifications.
Gonna be a nasty positioning right there. Checking that out.
Tactical asset near your position.
Requesting sentry.
Deploying sentry.
Found something. Call.
Deploying sentry.
Door's here. We're saved.
It's gonna come down at some point. Well, yeah, absolutely we give a hug. Absolutely we give hugs. Anything else is just not democratic, you know?
We're saved.
Objective completed.
Alright, so that's gonna put us at 28. Which means I don't need to stand here anymore, because S3 is gonna do
Objective located.
that
Northeast.
one, and then that's gonna be the end of it. So I'm gonna step up, go this way,
Calling down fortifications.
start plugging bodies over here.
Orbital inbound. Say hello to democracy. Calling down a sentry.
My turret's just over here stacking more bodies.
Freedom spreads yet further.
Dropping a pin.
Extract when ready.
Man, I'm kind of in love with how good the mortar turret is at terrain deformation. I really want something that does that naturally, because I think terrain deformation in this game is really cool. and can lead to some very fun emergent gameplay sort of things. I'm actually gonna
Extraction is available.
Attack back inbound.
I probably don't
Requesting
need to,
advanced
but I'm just
weaponry.
going to here. Yeah,
Calling in extraction.
it's fine.
Requesting sentry.
Extraction shuttle inbound.
Yeah, I really didn't need to. Alright, so this is where I really jump into this.
ETA T-minus 2 minutes 30 seconds.
Requesting fortifications.
What?
Sending down fortification.
Why though?
Requesting sentry. Calling down a sentry.
ETA T-minus 2 minutes.
Requesting advanced weaponry. Requesting fortifications.
It's just kind of a weird thing that I often see happening with this enemy type. Is there will be nothing to do at the end of the
ETA
mission,
T-minus 1 minute and 30 seconds.
and I don't know why. It's just like the enemies just don't want to try to fight it out with us at the very end.
Last reload.
ETA T-minus 1 minute.
I've got you.
Calling down a sentry.
Yeah, there's just, you know,
Marking
nothing going on.
ETA T-minus 30 seconds.
That's kind of sad.
ETA T-minus 20 seconds.
Requesting sentry.
ETA T-minus 10 seconds.
Here.
Pelican 1 approaching pickup.
I've got you.
Pelican 1 landing in progress.
Calling down fortification. For peace.
Just stacking bodies. Just existing
Requesting orbital.
and getting all the kills that I could possibly want.
Orbital inbound. Requesting sentry.
Pelican 1 preparing to depart. Shuttle launch in 20 seconds. Reinforcement budget depleted. Extraction complete. Pelican 1 beginning ascent.
Nope. He died. He wasn't aware. He
Victory
wasn't
was
reading.
never in doubt.
He was not ready. Yeah, I'm betting like 660, something like that. Total kill count. Huge numbers, stonks. Because every time I start a kill streak with this, I'm running upwards of 20. And if you think I'm getting in less than like 50 fights in almost 40 minutes, you're just tripping. It's a 33-minute match. Like, and some of those kill counts were like up in the mid 40s and 50s. Like, you're not gonna get huge numbers off of this, just like per fight, Because it's gonna grind through them so fast. I'll be so sad. Yeah, check this shit out. This is gonna be insane. The numbers are gonna be freaking huge. Yeah, 669. See, like I said, 660. Just absolute animal numbers. Insane comparative numbers. Just through the roof. And I had 3 deaths there, and 2 of them were to allies. Like, I only had 1 death, and I can't even remember exactly how it happened. How I died. Got harvested, you know, by the electrical shot, and then accidentally got tagged by one of the other enemies. Just stupid. If everybody on your team runs this loadout, there's literally no reason to not fight every single group of enemies that you come across. Because you're just gonna grind them into dust. But it's also like not the most fun playstyle in the game. You know what I mean? It falls short of what is super fun to do.
Orbit synchronized.
But it is absolutely the most effective loadout into this enemy type, period. And it is not even a question right now. Like, nothing else. And you could swap gas grenades out for, like, incendiary impact or the regular incendiary grenades if that's something that you want to do. But it's not really something you need to do. You know what I mean? So you just run these 2, run Gundog, run MG43. And there you go. And that's it. And you keep the crisper in your back pocket, because the crisper in your back pocket is really good for just, like, setting down a line of defense. Other good options are, like, the Senator or the Verdict, if you need something that's, like, solid and capable. If you enjoy melee into this enemy type, like, you don't necessarily like the constant reload, you can take the combat hatchet if you can get your hands on it, or the stun baton if you can get your hands on that. Just rock solid answers. But really the crisper is pretty insane. Because the crisper does fire damage, and fire damage goes straight to enemy HP totals. And there's pretty much no enemy in this faction that can survive you ignoring its armor. And it's just that insane. It's just so insane. And you notice after the very beginning of that, I really had no struggles, no problems. And part of the reason I struggled and had any slight issues at the very start of that was because the other guy was kind of ticking off all of the enemies before I could get myself situated and get into a position where I was like, I know how many enemies are coming. So I had no spatial awareness as to what was going on. And bro, they just dropped all of the enemies on me.
Allied destroyer
I
has joined
don't
squadron.
understand the
Engaging
quasar
orbital
here.
thrusters.
Like, not to build shame, but that just doesn't
Orbit
make any
synchronized.
sense. I don't know why you wouldn't run a machine gun. Like, maybe he thinks it's the other one. Maybe he thinks it's the laser cannon, because the laser cannon's actually pretty decent here. It's basically an infinite ammo version of the MG43. It is technically a heavy armor pin, which is technically better than the MG43, but I think the laser cannon only does like 60 damage per second. It might be like 220 damage per second, but like it's broken up into ticks. And I'd rather do 90 damage per bullet than 220 damage per second. I mean, no. Like, I don't know who this guy is.
Allied destroyer has left squadron. Hellpods primed. Hellpod launch initiated.
Yeah, bro, you don't just jump into a thing. Hey, kick somebody. Why? Why? I gotta know.
Let them come. Let them roll. Let them face the insurmountable might of the Helldivers.
Deploying equipment package.
Calling down support weapon.
Well, this is pretty cool. This is a freaking
Rare sample
rare
acquired.
sample farm. One tap that guy.
Deploying SOS beacon. Tagging map. East. 200 meters.
Calling down a sentry.
Deploying sentry.
Mag's empty!
Yeah.
Marking location. Never mind. Illuminate.
Okay.
East. 200 meters. Tagging location. East.
Tactical asset near your position. Allied destroyer joining squadron. Deploying Helldiver. Outpost cleared.
Nope. Good shot, guy.
Max.
Oh man. Ah. No help on space.
Requesting sentry.
Well, in that case, don't mind if I just grab all of
Package
the ammo.
acquired. Dropping package.
Requesting tac back. Support weapon inbound. Dropping a pin. South. 100 meters. Calling down a sentry! Throwing supply beacon. South. 50 meters. Up. Requesting orbit.
Allied destroyer joining squadron. Deploying Helldiver to combat zone.
Fire in the hole!
Package acquired. Dropping package.
Requesting advanced weaponry! Mag's empty.
Oh. Okay.
Objective near your position.
Sending in an eagle.
I was not ready for bro to take a whole extra shot to kill. What a guy. What a guy.
Dropping a pin. Southwest. 200 meters. Squids! Tagging map. Southwest. 200 meters. Requesting sentry.
Sending down sentry. Sub-objective.
Get some! Get some!
Calling down fortifications.
Mag's empty!
Package acquired. Tagging map. South. 300 meters.
Okay, brother.
Calling down a sentry!
Democracy delivered. Tactical asset nearby.
Victory was never in doubt. Now, I will say this. I need to grab these supplies that are over here. Because I did use up all my stims during that.
Dropping package.
Probably could have handled it a little bit better. But I did walk into it with no ammo
Requesting air
in
support.
any of my weapons. Which kind of put me in a bad spot.
Found something.
Dropping a pin. Southeast. Far.
Squid outpost
Tagging map.
spotted.
Southwest. 300 meters.
I guess I'll go back to the...
Package acquired.
Oh, wait a minute.
Dropping a pin. Southeast. 300 meters.
I'm running a little bit lone wolf here, but it is what it is. Probably gonna take a short break after this anyway.
Calling down a sentry.
It's nice and refreshing to be solo.
Found something.
Got both turrets in about 7 seconds total.
Dropping a pin. North. 100 meters. Package.
Requesting sentry.
Sending down sentry. Outpost destroyed.
Marking location.
Mag's empty.
Oh, really? Okay.
Marking location.
Outpost destroyed.
Tagging location. Reinforcing.
Tagging map. Southwest.
Marking
300
location.
meters.
Illuminate. Dropping a pin. Northwest. 50 meters. You have served democracy well. Extraction awaits. Tagging location. Northwest.
Freedom requires firepower.
Right on the other side here. hear it dinging.
Calling down a sentry.
It's over here somewhere.
Mission at 30
There it
minutes
is.
remaining.
There it is.
There's something here. Rare sample acquired. Found something.
They definitely found a jeep. The way that they're moving together.
Sending in an eagle.
Extraction is available.
Support weapon. Found something. You will never destroy our way of life.
Dang.
Tagging map. East. Far.
Kill count's just staying low. Just not running into anything.
Found some. Calling down a sentry. Reloading. Marking location. Get some! Get some! I'm out! I'm sorry. Affirmative.
Extraction is available.
Nailed it.
Found something! Activating jump map. Rare sample affirmative. Calling down support weapon. Requesting sentry. Requesting sentry. Calling in express.
Deploying sentry.
I'm out.
Extraction request confirmed. Shuttle inbound.
Last reload. Rare sample acquired. Requesting sentry. To the sky. Requesting sentry.
ETA T-minus 2 minutes, 30 seconds.
Oh!
ETA T-minus 1 minute, 30 seconds.
For prosperity!
My life for Super Earth.
Get some! Get some!
ETA T-minus 1 minute.
Calling down a sentry! Requesting fortifications! Have a taste of some ostrich southwest.
ETA T-minus 30 seconds. ETA T-minus 20 seconds.
Requesting air support!
ETA T-minus 10 seconds. Clear landing zone.
Calling in reinforcements.
Pelican 1 arriving at coordinates.
Like the taste of freedom!
Pelican 1 landing in progress.
Reloading! Calling down a sentry!
Countdown initiated. Stand by for takeoff.
Reinforcement budget depleted.
Extraction complete. Pelican 1 beginning ascent.
Guy doesn't know how the countdown works.
Our way of life.
Well, we gotta flame him, right? Like, for sure we gotta flame. If we ain't flaming, are we really gaming? That's hilarious. Failure extract like that. Fucking crazy. Fucking crazy. His build is just... It's just insane, right? Like, I'm not even in most of the fights for the mission, and I'm sitting here over double the next guy. Literally combining. I think I got, actually, what is that? 29, this 140. Yeah, I got as many kills as their entire, as all three of them. Just off this stupid build. Build is absolutely insane. Just does everything to the max. If you need a build for squids, if you're struggling with Illuminate, this just does it. It does everything you need. And because it's peak physique, when the Illuminate get close and the Voteless want to fight, just pound them back. Just beat them right back in their faces. There's nothing they can do. Absolutely insane build. Absolutely insane build. Does everything. Just so much medium pen, there's nothing they can do. And I actually make the argument, that if you don't want to use crossbow, you can go ahead and get away with Eruptor, because it is a heavy pin option for, like, bots. If you want to run, like, Eruptor and Senator, if that's something that you want to do. Because you're just using crossbow here to clear groups that are nice and tight, save yourself a little bit of time on the jumble and the hustle, and you can do a whole lot. Like,
Allied destroyer has left
it's such a
squadron.
crazy setup. And it literally does everything that you need. It does have one real weakness into bugs, and that is that you don't have a good way to deal with Bile Titans, and you don't have a great way to deal with Chargers. And so, like, taking a different strat to deal with those is going to be very, very pivotal. However,
we must act.
if you play with a dedicated group of people, like a pretty decently dedicated group of people, and you have that one person in the group who just cannot let go of anti-tank stratagems, like I have a friend that does that, we're talking literally, we're talking Eagle 500, we're talking recoilless rifle, we're talking anti-tank emplacement, and it's just so much anti-tank at all times that for the bugs, there's just not a whole lot they can do. There's just really not a whole lot they can do. Because even if they get a charger in deep and it knocks out one of your turrets, you should be using your turrets offset. So you just throw another one out and just murder the bugs while they hunt your turrets. And it's a totally viable bug build. Is it the best bug build? No. Will it get you a crap ton of kills on a, like, medium enemy heavy seed? Yes, absolutely. Absolutely it will. So, like, if you get bile spewers, it does in fact just tear through bile spewers. It does go through bile spewers.
The galaxy of
like,
alien scum.
Like bullets through tissue paper. Stalkers don't have a chance. It's actually fairly good into the Predator strain. Absolutely cracked into the Gloom strain. The Gloom strain with the bugs that explodify when they die. It's really insane into, because even with all the Bile Titans, if you have somebody who's like dedicated anti-tank, this build just kills everything. It just kills everything. Because instead of having just a machine gun, your machine gun is basically a grenade launcher, because you're getting the chain reaction domino effect of one enemy just dying and killing all the enemies around it. And it just goes very well. Very well. I'm going to finish off Borderline Justice here. I should be able to get... maybe that was a miss grab, but that's whatever. We'll go ahead and... Where's the other emote? The draw emote not here? Is the draw emote a superstore emote? That's pretty funny if I missed that. It's actually funny if I missed that. Let's see, 55 and 32. Yeah, that's fine. We'll take this and we'll grab this. And then all I need to get is 97 more Warbonds. And we are going to win this.
Every sector in the galaxy must be purged of the alien menace.
Because we're about to kill Keed. And,
we will cleanse this galaxy one planet at a time.
we got 4 hours. This thing is done. It's cooked. It's cooked. But I'm gonna take a break, at least for a little bit here. Gonna leave the stream running for a hot sec, and we'll see if I come back on this. If not, I'm going to go ahead and stream putting a tier list together, and then a discussion about some other stuff that's going on. But I'll be back in just a moment. Let's see. Trying to pull the right one up here. There we go. All right. So, gonna open with a Warbond tier list, and this is mostly my own opinion, but I'm gonna go ahead and back it up with like some pretty strong, in my opinion, pretty strong evidence as to why these fall into the category that they fall into. I'm gonna start though by prefacing what I consider something to be when it's S rank, and that generally means it is deciding or setting or crystallizing the meta. It is generally so good, and what it does is generally so versatile that everything else is trying to either play catch up with it, or it is like a cornerstone pinnacle portion of gameplay to the point that like you have to be utilizing some portion of it in order to be playing at the highest levels of play. Like you cannot consider yourself elite unless you are operating with whatever something S tier is at like an expert level. If you're expertly executing with something in S tier, you're playing at the highest level, and that's just period. Like this is just gonna happen. The other thing that it does is it takes people who are not operating at an expert level with those items, and it bumps their skill up like 2 tiers effectively. Like it is just that much raw potency that it just bumps them up 2 tiers. So like a C tier player immediately starts playing at an A level just because of the power that an S provides. And that's just not the same case with something that's like in an A tier. Something that's an A tier means it's standing at the top of what it does. It is extremely potent. It's extremely capable. It has a lot of versatility. There's not a whole lot of situations where something that is an A level is going to perform poorly, and as long as you're conscious for the most part, you're gonna find generally good use out of A ranked items. B ranked items are literally your roundabout averages. They're things that sit at a level of consistency that I would consider balanced. They're not excessively over the top. They're not beyond capable. They're not solving problems or um, providing answers to difficult mechanics without at least a good bit of effort. Like you do need to know the ins and outs of what you're doing there to actually find a very high level of performance with a B level item. A C level item is something that is literally just it is getting by. It does what it does. It's probably got a niche that lets it do something well, but outside of that niche, it's not really performing to the same level that you'd want other things to perform to. Um, you could find easily better, um, but maybe there's like a certain thing that you're trying to do with a C tier item that you can make work with some other synergies, and it's kind of just getting along passably because of everything else that you've got around it. D tier items are clearly in need. They're in need of help. They're on the borderline of being failures. They do something, probably, but whatever they do is it's extra laborious. You're kind of just waiting around for them to do the thing that they promise they're going to do, and that's pretty much it. They just sit there and don't actually provide a whole lot in the context of overall mechanical play. I will say I don't realistically believe in F rank items most of the time. Occasionally, there's one or two items that is in a game that is F rank. These are Warbonds in this particular context. I don't think there's a single failing Warbond in the game. I think there's a couple of Warbonds that are really behind the curve in D, but they're not failing. They're providing something decent, and if you're willing to look for that C tier synergy, you can make some stuff happen. So the first one, and I'm gonna drop this one in S tier, is the mobilize Warbond. It is, as time has gone on, this Warbond has just skyrocketed in value. It is obviously free. It's not one of the premium Warbonds like the rest, so that gives it a whole lot of weight. It is your standard progression to-do list for this game. It lets you know where you are, but it also contains some of the most ludicrously potent items in the game. Namely, at the very end of it, the Scorcher. The Scorcher is friggin' ridiculous pretty much across the board. Easily vying for a top 3 spot. Absolutely falling in a top 5 spot for meta weapons and overall weapons in the primary slot for effectiveness. It's also providing you a litany of other strong items, strong weapons. The Diligence Counter Sniper is here. The regular Diligence is here, which is not like incredible, but if you're willing to learn it, it has a decent ammo capacity advantage over the Counter Sniper, and you can really kind of let that do some work into the bot front. The Diligence Counter Sniper is like arguably top 3 into the bot front directly. It just does everything you'd want it to do there. The downside is you're getting some Liberator stuff here, like the Liberator Penetrator. That a lot of people talk really good about the Liberator Penetrator, but I think the Liberator Penetrator is probably the baseline for ARs. It is like the most stock standard version of ARs, and the reason people talk really good about it is because the rest of the ARs in the game just fall behind because they're not medium penetration. That's a different conversation that we can have, but that's a major issue. You're getting a couple of SMGs in this Warbond. You're getting some pretty decent shotguns here. It used to give you one of the best weapons in the game in the form of the regular Breaker 225. But that weapon just continues to catch nerfs for some reason, even though it hasn't been strong for, at this point, close to a year. Yeah, the Breaker Spray and Pray is in here, solid option. Your Slugger is in here. The Punisher is in here, and if you're looking for some early shotgun play that's going to just provide effortless effects, the regular Punisher is really good. It still does everything you'd want a gun to do, albeit at the light armor pin level. If you bring a good support weapon to back it up, it's rock solid into bugs and like pretty decent into the squids. Okay. Next is going to be Steeled Veterans. I feel like Steeled Veterans kind of gets a bad rap for like a lot of reasons, but it's easily B tier. It's easily a B tier option. It does come with the Super Citizen Edition, so if you do decide to spring for the Super Citizen Edition and get that extra armor set and everything, this just comes with it as part of the package. And as inexpensive as the game kind of comes at base, which is like incredible, getting the Super Citizen Edition and paying like a full price video game, and then getting this additional Warbond pack in there, and having like that additional side to go with on the Mobilize is pretty good. The Jar 5 Dominator is in here. Very, very potent weapon. Definitely gets a lot of undeserved hate. A lot of people just kind of don't respect the Dominator, but it does a lot. Like, I think the only thing that they could do that would make the Dominator any crazier and would probably put it back on a lot of people's radar would be to give it AP4 like they just did with the Eruptor. But it does not need that. It really does not need that. It'd be cool if it did that as like the go-to heavy bolter sort of option, but it does not need that. The other thing that comes in here that gets really kind of crapped on for no reason is the Liberator Concussive. The Liberator Concussive is a very decent weapon. Like, it does some work. Liberator Concussive is very, very viable as a support weapon. It kind of it's not necessarily what you want to be using as a primary's primary, but if you're running around and you've got like auto cannon or laser cannon or one of these support weapons that is kind of operating like a primary, so like the heavy HMG, the medium machine gun, the stalwart even, as an option to kind of like stun and push back and keep your distance from enemies, it's pretty good. Like it's actually pretty decent. And there's a new Warbond that just released that dropped a item that kind of makes this thing kooky. We'll get to that because I'll definitely bring that up when I get there. But it does kind of play very well with a couple of the new items that just came out. Cutting Edge. Cutting Edge, I would have argued for the longest time was the single S tier Warbond in the game, but now it's definitely just a solid A. When Cutting Edge first came out, it did some things to the game that the game was clearly not ready for. It dropped a stun grenade, it dropped a sickle, it gave us the blitzer, and it gave us the plasma punisher. And people did not respect one of those weapons enough because the other two were really, really cool. And I'm talking mainly about the sickle and the blitzer. The sickle was, when this released, probably everybody's favorite assault rifle like weapon. It still definitely sits pretty high in the I like assault rifles category that a lot of people have, because if you're good at it and you know how to use it right and you're smart and careful, it is an infinite ammo weapon, which is solving a lot of the problems that most of the ARs have right now, which is an ammo consistency issue. They just don't have the economy of ammunition that lets them do what you need an assault rifle to do in a game that throws the number of enemies at you that this game does. Plus, like, level 7 plus, like, level 8, 9, and Super Helldive 10, the number of enemies that it's throwing at you, the assault rifles start to fall behind unless you're really good and you know exactly what you need to be aiming at and you're hitting those targets. And the sickle kind of lets you skip some of the skill check for that. The blitzer lets you skip skill checks altogether. The blitzer is one of my favorite weapons in Determineds. It literally just kind of trivializes everything short of a charger on the Terminid front. It automatically chains to headshots. It can hit up to 3 enemies at the same time. It devastates everything below Brood Commander Bile Spewer level. All of those enemies get absolutely curb stomped by the Blitzer. If you're really, really good at it, it solves pretty much 90% of the enemies on the Terminid front, and you never will take damage if you're really good at spatial awareness. It does struggle into the Predator strain, which a lot of people like had some issues with. But the struggle that it offers into the Predator strain is, I think, mostly an issue of a lot of people are running lighter armor sets. And this thing is really good at buying you a little bit of time, but not all the time in the world against the Predator strain. But if you're running a heavy armor set and you have this weapon, you can take some hits. And so you can just dish it right back into the enemies that are causing you trouble. And it is easily one of the top 3 weapons into Terminid's period. The last one here, the one that I'm kind of skipping over, is the Plasma Punisher. When this Warbond released, a lot of people did not respect the Plasma Punisher. I would take it to the bot front and never die. This was back when, like, just after Malevelon Creek, where people just freaking hated the bots, period. Like, I'm not saying people still don't hate the bots. Like, a lot of people just completely hate the bots. But it was real bad at the start of the game because the ragdoll was just awful. They were shooting you through walls. This lets you basically return the same treatment to them. The arc on the weapon was so good that you could fire from behind cover, and if you knew where the enemies were and you had any sort of spatial awareness, you got really, really high value out of this weapon. It was basically a pocket grenade launcher. It wasn't maybe doing the same amount of damage, but it was staggering every bot it hit. And everything short of a Hulk getting staggered by this basically meant they could not fight back. So you just kind of lob like 3 or 4 of these over a rock, slam them into a Devastator pack, and that whole pack is dead. Like when Tier 9 was the cap out, that weapon was insane. And then they did some changes to it that kind of messed it up, and then changed it back a little bit, and it's still kind of messed up. I don't think it's ever going to go back to how it was, how good it used to be. But if it ever does, oh man, I will pick that weapon back up in a heartbeat. I'm tempted to put it to task with the hover pack. I think the hover pack is possibly unlocking some synergy for it that it has not had in the past, specifically for the Illuminate faction, because when the Illuminate first dropped, a lot of people were talking about how it was pretty decent into the Illuminate because the explosion radius was good at killing Overseers, but there were just a lot of better options than it at the time. Still solid A because it also came with the flashbang, and the flashbang is still really good as a stun option. If you need an enemy to stop fucking with you, you just stun grenade them, and you can't really hate that value, especially if you don't have gas grenades. Democratic Detonation. Democratic Detonation is an S tier. Easily. This should surprise no one. This should literally surprise no one. Tenderizer is a top tier option into the squids. A lot of people will like to meme that the Tenderizer is not that great, and now granted, it is an assault rifle. It is light pin, but it does a lot of damage. It does enough damage to one-shot voteless legs, which effectively means if you just brought your primary along to deal with the voteless, it will do that. It does 10 more damage than the stalwart now. I believe it's still at 90, if I'm not mistaken. If it's not, it's at maybe 105. And if it's at 105, I actually think that's correct. I think the Tenderizer is now at 105. 105 damage at the fire rate that it is a fucking buzzsaw, man. It is a buzzsaw. It is a smaller ammo capacity version of the stalwart in your primary slot, which lets you carry something else if you need something like heavy in your support slot. And it gets memed on because, like, if you want the stalwart, just bring the stalwart and then run one of the other 2 weapons in this Warbond as your support weapon. And that's kind of a take your pick. And I say that because the Eruptor it did just catch a nerf, like, as of 2 days ago, to adjust how the shrapnel worked on it. And there's a lot of complaints about that. But it is still a rock-solid weapon. It is one of the only primaries in the game with heavy armor pin AP4. It does a frack ton of damage. And if you're willing to put the time in with it, there's some skill checks that it lets you do that really increase its efficacy to the point where the only thing that you're actually worried about with that weapon is ammo efficiency and your ammo economy with it. Like, is each shot getting value? And that's just kind of on you, right? Like, that is literally just on you to make sure that you're getting value out of each shot, not missing your shots, not blowing yourself up, not blowing allies up, and making sure you're landing it as close as you can to the center of a group. And not on an enemy, but like between enemies, so the shrapnel has a chance to spread out and just kind of fuck up everything in that area. You can still get some really good damage on some of the heavier enemies in the game by properly firing it where you need to, and letting that shrapnel do some extra work. It's a really good gun, and it does kill fabricators, it does kill bug holes, and it does kill warp ships once you break the shields down. And that's a powerful utility weapon. Speaking of powerful utility weapons, though, arguably the strongest primary in the game. And there's a lot of people that will say there's maybe some other primaries that get to compete, but no. This is, like, I say arguably, but I only say arguably because this is an opinion point. But the crossbow is easily the strongest primary in the game. The crossbow has a stat sheet that looks like a support weapon. And I mean that 100%. The damage radius, the damage fall off, the ammo count, the fire rate, the pen level being medium pen, the actual, like, usage for it, the distance that you can send the arrows on this thing, and them be fully fucking effective, it is insane. It is actually insane. I had some gameplay earlier tonight on this same stream where I am probably shooting 185, 200 meters out, and I am pelting a group of voteless and some overseers, and there is shit all they can do to me. They cannot reach me at that range. There is nothing they can do. And if you're good enough with this weapon, you can snipe factories, you can snipe bug holes, you can snipe warp ships if you get really, really good with it, and it's fucking silent. So you can do that with light armor, on prone, right next to a patrol, and you can kill their entire friggin' base, their entire hive, their entire, like, warp ship stack if they're all pre-shield broken. Like, and they're not even going to notice you because it's a silent weapon. They notice the explosion, they will respond to the explosion, but the initial shot that weapon takes is completely silent to them. The other thing is, it is, for some ungodly reason, it is a one-handed weapon. They gave a support weapon stat sheet on a one-handed weapon, and they buffed the crossbow to do this, and I cannot fathom why. I cannot fathom why. Because at one point, the crossbow was trash. They buffed it. It became the best weapon in the game, and they said, hey, we understand how powerful this new tool is for you. We appreciate that you love it. It's also one-handed just in case there was any issues with, you know, carrying code objectives, carrying the ballistic shield if you want to be a psychopath, carrying basically anything that you'd need to do one-handed. It does. It's insane. It even does the same one-handed thing where you can sprint, turn back, and fire on the move, which is already just a powerful thing to be able to do. Having that on an explosive weapon that has the same basically damage calc as the support weapon grenade launcher on only maybe a 20% slower fire rate than the grenade launcher, maybe 30% slower fire rate than the grenade launcher, is just cracked. It's just cracked. It's an unbelievably powerful weapon, and that alone is enough to push democratic detonation up. You also, however, get the impact incendiary, which is just a dumbass grenade. That is ridiculously strong grenade. On demand puddle of fire is really good into terminids. It is really good into squids, and it is like acceptably okay as a defense option against bots. Anyway, democratic detonation, probably the only real S outside of mobilize. Polar Patriots, we're gonna go ahead and drop that one in. I think we're gonna go ahead and drop that one in B tier. I misspoke about the tenderizer earlier. I apologize. You get the adjudicator in democratic detonation. Doesn't change my opinion of it. Still a totally functional weapon. It's rock solid. Anyway, Patriots with the tenderizer and the purifier and the pummeler. Easily B tier. It is being carried by the purifier in here. The tenderizer is what I said before. It's still suffering from the same issues that all ARs are suffering from, and it's still suffering from the if you want a stalwart, you just bring the stalwart. But the purifier is quite possibly the second strongest thing to bring into the bot front, and possibly the strongest like actual primary to use as a primary to bring into the squids. If you're really good with this weapon and you don't mind the charge time on it and you can manage the charge time on it, it is just firing the secondary, like the high explosive version of the recoilless rocket at groups of enemies. Like, it is a crap ton of damage in a pretty short amount of time in a very wide radius. The other thing about it is if you're still running a macro or you set your fire button to the mouse wheel on PC, or you've got a trigger finger that was blessed by God himself, you can fire this thing at basically infinite RPM, and it's gonna provide some work. That's basically it. The armor sets in here are kind of ass. They're not doing anything special for you. They're pretty baseline. The pummeler just keeps catching strays. It is not allowed to be good. The tenderizer is fine. But yeah. Viper Commandos is honestly, Viper Commandos is sitting in C tier. It's got some niche stuff going on. The problem with Viper Commandos is the only thing that's really giving you a ton of value out of this is the armor set. The peak physique armor sets. In my opinion, specifically the Twig Snapper, which is the heavy version. There's a light armor version in here that I can't remember the name of off the top of my head, but the heavy armor version of the peak physique armor set is quite solid because it does allow you to turn some of the more unwieldy weapons in the game into very potent, like, standard shoot options, and it kind of allows you to trivialize the squids even harder than they're already trivialized, and it is part of my ultimate squid killer build. The Liberator Carbine is suffering from all the same problems that assault rifles suffer from, while also simultaneously suffering from all of the problems that submachine guns suffer from, while also simultaneously suffering from all of the problems that pistols that are not the Senator suffer from. It's just not doing enough. It's not doing enough damage. The fire rate's too high. It's unwieldy as hell. The recoil's too bouncy. I don't think it has a ton of innate bloom, but it has enough innate bloom to not be that good. It's just not doing a whole lot. The Bushwhacker, arguably a pretty decent weapon. You can make your case for the Bushwhacker. I don't think it's the best. But if you're barren of other options, it's fine. It does some stuff. The throwing knives are not great. They can do some cool stuff if you can get really, really good with them. But the effort that it takes to get that good with them should otherwise be better spent on other things. Like there are other skill checks in this game that you need to get good at, and throwing those knives at the enemies that you can one-shot with them is not one of those skills. If they decide to do anything with the knives, and I highly recommend that they do decide to do something with the knives, allowing you to pull them out and do the same thing that you're able to do now with the new explosive that we just got. If you can take the knives and give them elemental effects, they will be good. Knives that set enemies on fire, knives that trigger the effects of gas and like poison dot enemies, knives that allow you to stun enemies for a very short time, all of the stun grenade or the blitzer proc. That would be very good, because then there's a use case for all three of them on all three fronts, and the knives are a then good answer to certain enemies that would otherwise not have a quick answer to in a kit. And that opens up some gameplay stuff for some people who like some niches like that. Do I think Arrowhead is going to do that? No, I don't think that's worth the developer time to make that item that is going to have a low pick rate, even if they make those changes, do those things. Yeah, I just don't see it happening. So overall, Viper Commandos definitely see. It was pretty cool when it first came out because it did provide some stuff that other Warbonds before it did not, being skins, which kind of opened the floodgates for getting more skins. Freedom's Flame. Okay, Freedom's Flame is another A tier. Freedom's Flame comes with the Cookout, the Torture, the Crisper, and the friggin' thermite grenades. I don't know what else I need to say. Like, the Cookout is one of the best terminated weapons in the game. Right up there next to the Blitzer. It's basically Blitzer here, Cookout here, and you kind of just get to pick which version of get the fuck away from me you prefer. Because with the Cookout, it's go burn over there. With the Blitzer, it's stay the fuck back, I'm not done with you. And so just having the Cookout be in this shoots it up to the A tier, period. You can just kind of fire that thing at Terminids, and it does just kill, like, a lot of them. Like, a lot of them. If I need to point out how powerful this weapon is, people love it when we have it. The moment Arrowhead gave it to an enemy, the Incendiary Core Conflagration Devastator, everyone and their brother fucking lost their mind. They were like, how could you give one of our best weapons to the robots? We already hate the robots. Then you just gave them one of our strongest weapons, and you thought that was going to blow over well. Newsflash, it did not. It was very poorly received. Because when we received it, we were set on fire and devastated beyond imagining, because it sometimes got headshot modifiers and would take your Helldivers' shoulders off alongside the rest of their body. The Torture is one of the only AP4, so heavy armor pin primary weapons in the game. That's doing a lot of work. The Torture is one of the fastest ways to rack up kills against the Terminids. The Cookout will kill everything on the Terminid front, The torture literally will kill everything on the Terminid front. If I am kill farming on the Terminid front, I am bringing the torture. Or I'm sorry, is it the... It's the Scorcher. No, it isn't. It's the torture. I'm right. The torture. It's a... People make the argument that it's not good because if you want a flamethrower, you should just bring the incinerator, which is the heavy flamethrower. But like having a heavy armor flamethrower or a heavy armor pin flamethrower with a like moderately okay ammo capacity, the ability to set the floor on fire and create a zone of impasse, setting all of the enemies that it hits on fire. It does have like a moderate version of pass through, so you can set multiple enemies on fire with it while streaming it in one direction. It it just free farms you kills. It's just rock solid. There's no saying that it's a bad weapon. There's a lot of people that will call it not good because of the alternative option there. But if you're just literally kill farming the Terminids, it will do it for you. The Crisper is the same way. It's just a pocket version with significantly less ammo and slightly less damage per second. But let's be honest, if you're applying the fire effect to enemies with a flamethrower, you're not really doing it so that the damage of that weapon is what's getting the kills. You're doing it because if you set an enemy on fire, they take a crap ton of damage to their main health pool that they cannot block, that they have no resistance to, and it's just good. It's just good. You just cook them. You just cook them with the crisper, and it's a fine little sidearm. The other thing is the friggin' thermite grenades, which are a meta-defining option. They are not meta-defining enough to bring this into an S tier set, but thermite grenades are a direct answer for a lot of people's kits who don't want to bring, like, a true heavy, like, vehicle level, large enemy, massive enemy answer. And you just kind of can stick them to Striders, Hulks, Chargers, Bile Titans, if you're feeling fancy, Impalers, and they'll just solve that problem for you. They just do so much damage that they do just solve that problem for you. When this came out, they were killing factories too, so it's kind of sad that that's not 100% a thing anymore with the thermite grenades, because it would be nice for them to still be able to kill factories. But hey, it is what it is, and when I say kill factories, I mean by not having to chuck them into the hole, but instead just slapping them on the side and saying, hey, this is actually a thermite explosive. It's going to do this. Yeah, Freedom's Flame is rock solid. Definitely would recommend it if you're looking for something. Chemical agents? Okay. Now, people are going to call me a little bit crazy for this, because people don't think chemical agents is very good. But chemical agents is easily a B tier. I would make the argument that it is actually an A tier. But I concede a little bit of ground here because they keep fucking with gas. And because they keep fucking with gas without saying anything to the player base and they just kind of do it, I can kind of give some ground and let it be a bit lower down on the list. The sterilizer does not exist. Do not let anyone lie to you. It is a support weapon stratagem, sort of, but it doesn't actually do anything. The reason it doesn't actually do anything is because everything else in this Warbond is way better at applying gas than it will ever be. And that is the Guard Dog Breath. That is the gas grenades. And, god dang. What primary even came with this? Did one even come with this? I don't feel like one did. Nope. Anyway. Yeah, so the dog breath is it is a one-stop shop answer to Terminids. It invalidates their AI. They do not get to fuck with you at all if you have the guard dog breath, because they made a change to it very clearly above, where it now targets any enemy in its radius that does not currently suffer from the gas status effect, and it gasses them. And then it moves on to the next non-gas target and will rotate back to the first one. So what this is effectively doing is applying a pretty decent damage dot to every enemy that wants to harm you. And on top of that damage dot, they are going crazy. They are attacking nearby enemies, which is additional damage occasionally for you. They're not running in straight lines at you. And that's just great against the Terminids. So good, in fact, that it it literally will keep you from dying almost by itself. And if you're also like bringing the cookout, the blitzer, or the torture, you're going to not fear death, because there's not a lot of enemies that can give it to you when you're just gassing all of them. Like, this shit works on chargers, and this thing is basically infinite ammo. I've never had one run out. I had a friend tell me it ran out on them. I think they just were wrong and didn't know how to like unbackpack it. Insane. Gas grenades, easily the best grenade in the game. It is a 15-second area denial that applies the gas status effect, which we just talked about how decent the gas status effect is. But it's a 15-second area denial that does damage over time in the area on top of applying the gas effect. Just dumb. Just better stuns on a massive area. Bugs breach, you throw this at it, they are fucked. Voteless swarming, you throw this in between you and them, the voteless will die coming through this. They will die. Any additional chip damage will just ensure that you never get touched. Very, very good Warbond for that reason alone. Not really a whole lot of need to do anything else there. Truth Enforcers is a C tier. And Truth Enforcers has a problem. And Truth Enforcers' problem is it only came with one thing that was really worth having, and that's the halt. And the problem with the halt is, while the halt is really good at the thing that you want it to do, which is basically perma-stun any enemy smaller than an Impaler, a Bile Titan, a Tank, or a Hulk. And I do actually, I think it can stun Hulks. I just don't want to be wrong about that. It's kind of carrying this Warbond into the future. A lot of people like the Reprimand because the Reprimand is, according to a lot of people, what Assault Rifle should feel like. But the Reprimand is annoying as hell to use because of the way that its firing works. It's inaccurate because of bloom and innate like chance to miss, and it never really recovers from that. The armor sets in Truth Enforcers are terrible. Unflinching is easily the worst passive in the game. It needs something else. It needs a lot more. It either needs to make it so that you can stand your ground while getting just punched in the face and continue to actually shoot, or unflinching needs to start applying to other things, or it needs to get a second passive that just kind of synergizes really well with it. And I'm not sure what you would want to synergize with a passive like that. Maybe like a recoil reduction, so that like even if you get tagged, it doesn't matter. You're just super accurate at all times. Anyway, moving on, because the only thing that's good about that Warbond is the drip. Urban Legends is Urban Legends is questionable. Urban Legends is Urban Legends is also C tier. Um, it brought us our first melee, uh, that you can still get access to, like relatively easily without waiting for the superstore to come around, and that's nice and that's great and it's like really cool, and it does some stuff and that's fine. Like that's fine. But otherwise, there's really not a lot coming out of this Warbond. You're getting access to a couple of stratagems that can kind of set the tone, but everything else is, you know, weapon wise, not doing good. I'm actually gonna call this a B tier. And what's carrying this Warbond is the anti-tank emplacement and the siege ready armor set. The siege ready armor set is like arguably one of the best, most potent armor set effects in the game, but you can also get one from the superstore that's like just as good. You're basically just getting it for that armor set, and the anti-tank emplacement coming along with that is just rock solid because that's probably the single most powerful stratagem in the game if you can prep time it. It's Batman with prep time levels of powerful. It is the way that you do currently solve the Super Helldive Factory Strider convoy. You just drop one of these things down in front of it and you just chew through the Factory Striders because it has like 30 shots, dumb ammo, etc. The FRV is kind of mid. The melee weapon, kind of mid. Yeah. Good B tier, though. Feel pretty good about it being B tier. Servants of Freedom is an A tier. I don't think that should surprise anybody. The armor sets in Servants of Freedom, like, they go underused because nobody wants to die. But if you just decide to play like a psychomaniac, there's some really fun shit to be done with this Warbond. Um, it it is really fun. I mean, there's some really fun shit to be done with this Warbond. And the number one thing is the fact that it is the carrier of the third heavy armor penetrating primary, and that is the double-edged sickle, which a lot of people already like the original sickle, but this sickle is basically fire until you die because it actually does damage to you after it reaches a certain heat load. But that heat load also allows it to increase its armor pen level. And that's kind of crazy because you can get to level 4 on a fully automatic weapon, and even though it's doing like not the craziest damage per shot, it has a really high fire rate. So it's kind of like having the laser cannon as a primary, and it is legit infinite ammo. And if you have somebody puppy guarding you with a stim pistol, and you have the experimental infusion from chemical agents booster going and vitality booster, that person can puppy guard you, and you basically have an HMG at all times with infinite ammo. You're just on fire. So if you can deal with that, it's really good. The other thing that it came with is the fucking ultimatum, which is a secondary grenade launcher that I struggle to call a grenade launcher because it is a stratagem on a stick. It has enough demolition force to kill everything in the game short of only Hellpod requires and or Hellbomb requirements. And that's a lot. That's a lot of things that does. One shots every enemy in the game if you're able to land it in the right spot, except for the Factory Strider, which you need 2 for. But hey, that's the largest enemy that's the largest, most armored enemy in the game. Like if you're one-shotting that enemy, like you should have to use a stratagem for that. 2 shots is pretty crazy though. I do want to say I feel that the nerfs that the ultimatum copped were both required and also wrong at the same time. It really didn't need to have Hellpod Space not affect it. It's kind of weird that it's the only thing in the game that Hellpod Space does not fulfill, and that's very goofy and stupid in my opinion. Um, but I can completely understand the Siege Ready passive not working with it because it's not a magazine weapon, and Siege Ready specifies magazine. It's a mini nuke, like it's literally a pocket mini nuke. Should not be getting all of the ammo in the world for something like that. But hey, whatever. Um, this also came with a portable hell bomb, and the portable hell bomb is stupid fun for like a ton of reasons. And if you don't want to have the sun, the power of the sun in the palm of your hand, then don't buy Servants of Freedom. But if you want to imagine that, it's definitely the way to go. Borderline Justice. Borderline Justice is B tier at best. Borderline Justice is B tier, even though it just came out, because the things that Borderline Justice are giving you are kind of just for fun, gimmicky options that don't actually sit anywhere like at a high level. And I say that meaning that the hover pack opens some gameplay options that are really, really cool, but not necessarily optimal. The pardon me. The armor sets giving Gunslinger as a secondary weapon focus doesn't make a lot of sense to me because most of the secondary weapons in the game really don't benefit from this as much. I think that the Gunslinger armor passive is going to age like fine wine. I think right now it's just not all that because we don't have an all that set of secondary weapons that it really works on. But once we get some of these like old school secondary weapons from the first game, oh my god, pardon me, it is going to start dominating at that level. The Talon sidearm is fine. It's just a infinite ammo verdict, basically. The verdict I still think is a better pistol coming out of Polar Patriots, but hey, whatever. And the Deadeye, which is the lever action repeater, is just a flat out side grade to the Diligence Counter Sniper. And if you want something that works like that, just complete Helldivers Mobilize. Don't waste your time on Borderline Justice. Borderline Justice's like main thing is you get the hover pack and the gunslinger set. The lever action's cool for the sake of cool, but so's the Constitution, and nobody's writing home about that. What's the other thing that this thing is giving you that's even remotely worth worrying about? The dynamite are here, I suppose. They exist. They need their fall off completely removed, and they need to be anti-tank. The fact that they are not anti-tank is actually fucking insane, and they also just need to stick to surfaces like 100%, and you should be able to stick them to tanks. You should be able to stick them to chargers. You just should be able to stick them to things. There's a really good argument to be made that maybe one of the things to be done with them, because they're all on a timer, is once you've put all of them out, it gives you a detonator, and then you can just immediately radio detonate them instead of waiting for the timer. And that could be a good response to taking out the 60-second timer, where you throw one out, and if it's on the remote detonator setting, you just get one at a time, and then you have to remote detonate it every time. I think that's a lot of dev time. I think that's them like doing some extra stuff that they don't want to do, but I think that's what solves that. Yep. So, anyway, That is my tier list right now for all of the Warbonds and where they sit in terms of power potency and realistically the order that you should get them in. They're kind of exactly how I'd recommend you purchase them sitting on this page. I would definitely recommend completing Helldivers Mobilize as fast as you can. If you're gonna buy a first Warbond, it should be Democratic Detonation. Your second option can be any one of these three: Cutting Edge, Freedom's Flame, and Servants of Freedom. It's kind of up to taste on that. They all have similar levels of potency. They all unlock new versions of gameplay. They all provide you some very, very potent stuff. I think Cutting Edge is the best of the three, and the reason I say that is because uh, the Blitzer and the Sickle are like really, really insane. But Freedom's Flame and Servants of Freedom are basically right behind it, and Cutting Edge is only just barely there. But I'm also a Blitzer stan. I think that the Blitzer is the best terminated shotgun in the entire game. If you're not going to use the crossbow, you're not going to use like a support weapon to kill the terminids, you should just be using the Blitzer. The cookout's great, but I just like it more. Steeled Veterans catches a lot of flack for no good fucking reason. The weapons in here are really good. The weapons in here are really, really good, and it does give you access to an explosive flame grenade that if you didn't get Democratic Detonation, it's right here. It's right here. It's there for you. Take advantage of it, and it does also open up some stuff. The servo assisted armor set needs some work. Needs some work. I'll be tier listing armor next for sure. Polar Patriots followed right behind that. Decent enough. Got some good things in there. It's resting on Purifier and Tenderizer being there. Yeah, definitely. Chemical Agents, I think it's getting a lot of undue hate. I really do think that the value of Chemical Agents is kind of skyrocketing every day at this point. It is giving you a really good booster. It is giving you a really good backpack stratagem. It's giving you a really good grenade. I just think it's quite worth it. Urban Legends gives you access to arguably the single most potent stratagem in the game. There's a lot of people that will say it's Orbital Napalm Barrage, but that's just not true. Being able to wipe out an entire mega fortress by sitting on a hill 300 meters away and then turn around and like kill 2 or 3 other bases is ridiculous. Borderline Justice is just unlocking a whole bunch of new playstyles for you. There's a lot of stuff to experiment with. It really kind of lets you round out some kit shortages as well. Definitely recommend it. Viper Commandos is just generally not great. It needs some help. It needs some help. It's viable. It's there. The stuff in there does in fact work. But there's better options. There's just way better options. Same is true for Truth Enforcers. It they're both, kind of equally in the same boat here. They're not providing that much. The halt is really not worth it. You have to set up a macro to make the halt worth it. And if you can't set up a macro or you're on like PlayStation here, you're kind of screwed on that weapon, because trying to constantly swap back and forth between stun shot and flechette, it's just not fun. It's a chore, it's a task, it's overwhelming, it's annoying in the heat of combat. If you don't have a macro for it, or you're not enjoying that kind of gameplay, you're not going to enjoy that. The only reason Viper Commando sits above it is the peak physique passive is actually really, really strong, and unflinching is pretty dog shit. yeah, that is where I'm going to end the stream tonight, though. It is 3 a.m. Central for me. So if you enjoyed any part of this content, you're catching it on YouTube, feel free to leave a like, subscribe if you want to see some more. As I said, I'm going to do some more tier lists. I'm going to go over a whole lot of things in this game and discuss what's good, what isn't, and give some good reasons why stuff is good and why stuff is not good. I'm not the most hours played on this game, but I play a really good amount of this game at a pretty decent level. I'm not running around doing Takibo things and soloing Super Helldive all the time. I just don't find that kind of gameplay fun. I like a challenge, but I also want to play with other people. I don't view solo as a fun way to play a game, especially when the game is designed around co-op. It's just a better experience. Anyway, have a great one.